But standing in his way will be Auckland-born Mark Hunt. The local kickboxing legend will have the crowd on his side as he attempts to derail Lewis's championship hopes. The FS1 UFC Fight Night weigh-in show starts now. Tomorrow they fight, today they weigh in. Hello everyone and welcome to the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles. Karen Bryant here alongside three-time title challenger Mr. Kenny Florian and the former bantamweight queen Miesha Tate. We have Heidi Androl on location for us as well. But Ken Flo, I don't know if you're ever really ready for these two heavy hitters throwing down tomorrow night.
I mean, anyone who's been following the careers of Mark Hunt and Derek Lewis know exactly what you're going to get with this fight. These are two knockout monsters that are going to stand up and trade.
So fun.
Well, Kenny, this is honestly the most you could ask for a main event fight. These are two men that are going to potentially slug it out for 5 rounds. I don't think it's going to go to a decision, but who doesn't love big boys throwing leather?
Absolutely. Right. And we said that, though, about Mark Hunt versus Bigfoot Silva, and we got a war for the ages all 5 rounds. So, Ken Flo, in our main event, of course, top 10 heavyweights, Derek Lewis and Mark Hunt are going to throw down two huge dudes. We just said it. They love to slug it out. But, Kenny, Derek asked for this fight. Was that a good idea?
Well, it confirms for me that this guy is a crazy man. Out of all the people that you call out, why would you call out Mark Hunt with all the striking experience? But look, it just talks to the confidence that Derek Lewis has right now. He's on a 6-fight win streak. This guy does not fear anybody, and he doesn't want to deal with any guys who are going to try to take him down. And neither does Mark Hunt, and that's why, folks, we have an amazing fight.
Absolutely. In our co-main event, though, Miesha, we've got something special as well. Another American named Derek is traveling down to New Zealand to take on a local. This time, wrestler Derek Brunson against judoka Dan Kelly.
This has all the makings for a great fight as well. I'm very excited about this one. This matchup is stellar because when you have a wrestler versus a judoka, this may nullify each other. This may turn into a stand-up fight. We may see 3 rounds of war of attrition. This is going to be an excellent fight. I can't wait for this fight to happen.
Yeah, in the makeup room, folks, Miesha and I kept going back and forth. What's going to happen?
We were.
Kelly, he's not supposed to win, but then he keeps winning.
Right.
What are we going to do about it? It should be a great matchup. As you said, with that, we're going to send you over literally to the other side of the world for the ceremonial weigh-ins. Here is our master of ceremonies, the greatest living American, Brian Stann.
Stand!
Let's hear you, Auckland! Welcome to UFC Fight Night Hunt versus Lewis weigh-in show. Welcome to the stage the lovely Chrissy Pearson and Kahili Lundell, SVP Talent Relations Sean Shelby, SVP International Joe Carr. Let's get things started, kicking off the UFC Fight Pass prelims in the lightweight division. The maestro, Dong-Hyun Kim, taking on THIBAULT GOUTI. First to the stage, THIBAULT GT GOUTI.
THIBAULT GOUTI is a born thrill seeker. He said he intends to stay here in New Zealand to explore, and he said after a win, he's going to do the Auckland Bridge bungee jump.
GOUTI has 7 first-round finishes, folks, and 6 wins by submission. You may remember him.
154 for THIBAULT GT GOUTI. And his opponent, the maestro, Dong-Hyun Kim.
And this is Dong-Hyun Kim. He is also a black belt in judo, but he's not the welterweight Dong-Hyun Kim. This guy is a very tall 155er at 5 foot 11 inches. Has won 8 of his last 11, and he was involved in an epic war against Marco Polo Reyes from not too long ago. That was fight of the night. This kid is tough. Go watch that fight. It's a classic.
155 for Dong-Hyun Kim.
Some good hair on Dong.
Yeah. Elias Theodoro approves.
Yes.
Or he's jealous. One or the other, right?
Sure, I'm jealous.
All right, in the featured bout of the Fight Pass prelims in the women's strawweight division, CHANMI JEON versus JJ Aldrich. First to the stage, CHANMI JEON making her UFC debut.
CHANMI JEON is 19 years old. Should she win, she will join Vitor Belfort and Sage Northcutt as the only 19-year-old winners. She did miss weight, weighing in at 118 pounds, will forfeit 20% of her purse to opponent JJ Aldrich.
Guys, would you say it is harder to make weight for your very first time in
118 for
the UFC?
CHANMI JEON. She
Well,
did
there's
miss
definitely
weight
more pressure, you know, and I understand she took this on
And
relatively
her
short
opponent,
notice, so that adds to the pressure.
Aldrich.
Aldrich, now she says, I'm not a fighter. I am a mixed martial artist. Well, I hate to differ, but she definitely has an element of fighter to her. She's very dedicated, she's very tough, and she just doesn't like to give up. She has the right mentality. She has the championship mentality already. She's got some work to do to get there, but she's got the right mindset.
116 for JJ Aldrich.
That look says it all. Look
Yeah.
at Aldrich.
She looks
Just
pretty
ready.
intense.
Yep.
And kicking off the televised prelims in the welterweight division, Zach the Barbarian Otto versus KIICHI Strasser Kunimoto.
Now he has 7 first-round finishes, 9 wins by submission, and those submissions are varied, all a bunch of different chokes. But it seems like he likes going to split decision here. He actually has 2 split decisions in the UFC so far. But this is a guy who's very well-rounded, really impressed me in his win over Josh Burton.
171 for the Barbarian, Zach Otto. And his opponent, KIICHI Kunimoto.
KIICHI Kunimoto was a professional skateboarder from 17 to 24. That's when he picked up MMA. He said he hasn't touched a skateboard since for fear of jeopardizing his career.
Skateboarding is way more dangerous than mixed martial arts.
Just gonna say.
170 for KIICHI
I would imagine
Kunimoto.
that's pretty good balance, though.
Yeah.
In all
It's true.
seriousness.
I just picked up longboarding. I can say it's more difficult than it looks.
Real tan or spray tan, guys? What's your vote?
I gotta have to go with Fink. Yes.
He's wearing it well, though, folks.
Yep.
Next up in the flyweight division, John Chicano Moraga, and fighting out of Australia, ASHKAN MOKHTARIAN.
ASHKAN MOKHTARIAN has a pretty strict schedule. He gets up early, makes breakfast, goes for a morning run, plays with his 4-year-old son, and then every single day he goes to the gym to train his 49-year-old mother, who's battling breast cancer.
Yeah, that's one of those guys you look at and go,
125 for
we know exactly
ASHKAN
what you do for a living. You're a
MOKHTARIAN.
fighter, right? Yeah.
And his opponent, John Chicano Moraga.
Now, I have actually trained with John Moraga. It was a few years ago, but I remember him being a very, very talented individual. And I know he's on a 3-fight losing skid, but if you look at who he's fought, he's really fought some of the best fighters in the world. And that includes a 5-round decision loss to the champ, DJ. who couldn't get
126
finished.
for the number 11 flyweight in the world, John Moraga.
This should be a fun scrap.
Yeah, both these guys very big for the division.
Yeah.
Wow.
Next up in the welterweight division, New Zealand's own Luke JUMEAU taking on Dominique non-stop action-packed STEELE.
Dominic STEELE was a very mischievous little boy. He said he actually used to sneak into the neighborhood boxing gym. That was until his mother caught him. She saw him through the window doing it. He never did it again, but said even back then he knew this would be his destiny.
Flo, run that nickname by me again.
Yeah, I forgot like 5 of the words. There's like 8 words.
170 and a half for Dominique STEELE.
He really wants to make sure you spend some time talking about him. when he
Exactly.
All right, New
Whatever
Zealand,
this
his
action
opponent,
pack.
your
Non-stop
own,
action-packed.
the Jedi, Luke JUMEAU.
Luke JUMEAU actually was a panel beater. What does that mean? That means he was an auto repair bodyman in Auckland, Australia. New Zealand. That's where he's from. You hear the crowd going nuts for Luke JUMEAU, the Jedi, gonna make his UFC debut tomorrow.
170 for Luke
He
JUMEAU.
spends some time in the sun, too. A little bit of a sunburn.
Yeah. Is that a spray burn?
Right. Maybe a tattoo.
Forehead to forehead. Wow.
Serious.
That was intense.
Up close and personal.
Next up in the featured televised prelim in the lightweight division, Damien beat down Brown versus Vince PICHEL.
Vince PICHEL said he's grown leaps and bounds with both his striking and his grappling. He was a purple belt, just recently got his brown belt. He said we're going to see an entirely new fighter here in Auckland.
$156 for Vince PICHEL. And his opponent, Australia's own Damien beat down Brown.
Damien Brown has actually been sitting out for 7 months healing injuries, but it wasn't all for naught. He actually became a father 10 weeks ago, so he kind of got to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. He likes to be active, though. He wants to fight every 3 to 4 months, so he's very excited to get back in there. And one other little fun fact, he had an apprenticeship in baking. I just thought that was cool.
Baking?
Cupcake, of course.
$155 for Damien Brown.
I just want to know if he could bake me something.
Right. Surprised he didn't bring a treat for his friends. Hello again. We are set to weigh in the 12 fighters on the main card, which you can see on FS1 tomorrow, starting with the featherweights, Alexander Volkanovski and MIZUTO HIROTA. Kenny, road to Japan's Hirota is up first.
That's right. He actually made it to the finals of that show, did very well. This is a veteran. He's been around a very long time, actually had a belt in Japan. A guy who's been fighting for a very long time, actually has been a pro for 12 years. He's 36 years old, so kind of near the end of his career. But this guy loves to find himself in these wars, loves to scrap, very well-rounded. This should be a fun fight.
146 for MIZUTO HIROTA. And his opponent, Australia's own Alexander the Great Volkanovski.
Alexander Volkanovski actually started training MMA to stay in shape as a professional rugby player. He said that every time he walks in the octagon, it's a chance to further prove that leaving that successful career in rugby to follow his dream was the right decision.
So, Kenny, he is kind of chasing your record. He has already fought at a couple of different weight classes. He's coming in now at a $145. Says he actually is considering bantamweight. Thinks he could actually do that at some point.
Wow. Jeez. I've seen him compete at 155 and 145. This kid is a goer, man. Non-stop energy.
That's an intense
This is one to watch for sure.
Next up in the flyweight division, the 8th ranked flyweight, Tim Elliott, taking on the 12th ranked flyweight, Ben Nguyen.
Well, I can't wait for this fight. Ben Nguyen, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, but do not be fooled by his face. This kid is an absolute killer, a black belt in Taekwondo. He's a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's extremely technical, has excellent footwork. Originally from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, now representing Australia.
Sydney, Australia. Ben Nguyen. And his opponent,
the
Tim Elliott.
Pretty accurate. All right, so Tim Elliott, a tough 24 winner, kind of thrust into the headline of mixed martial arts career. He went in, had a 5-round war again with Demetrius Johnson, looked very impressive, promising in that fight. He actually trained at my gym for this fight with my head coach, Robert Follis.
126 for Tim Elliott.
One thing I will say about Tim Elliott that I just find so funny, when he's sitting there watching the moves and whatnot, he can't sit still. He's very energetic. See him here. He's got to move. He's got to move. He's got to move. That exudes his fighting. That's how he likes to fight.
Very unorthodox as well.
Yes.
Next up in the light heavyweight division, Iwan Cutelaba versus Henrique da Silva.
Henrique da Silva is a passionate dog lover. He has 4 pit bulls. He has 2 3-year-olds, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old puppy named Ted, who sleeps in his bed.
So his nickname is Frankenstein. And Cutelaba likes to come out as the Hulk. No promises, but he may come out. We may have a serious battle for the ages on our hands.
And his opponent,
The next Marvel movie, or whoever owns Frankenstein as well, right?
Oh, the big letdown. We thought we were going to get all green paint everywhere, but either way, this guy has an extensive, he might as well be a superhero when it comes to Greco-Roman wrestling. He started as an adolescent, and he has this persona about him that's just like, you can't read him. You don't know what you're going to get when you fight this guy, except you don't want to tie up with him. You may end up on your back.
204 for Iwan Kutelaba.
He stopped eating kale. That's what.
Apparently that's it.
No more greens from Mr. Kutelaba. Oh, wow.
Oh, not feeling Frankenstein. Oh!
Very intense individual.
Okay. So people might make more of Henrique's flinch there than necessary. I think it's just, he was surprised more than scared.
I thought Kutelaba was going to eat him.
Yeah.
Auckland's own Dan, the Hangman Hooker, versus Ross, the real deal Pearson.
Ross Pearson has 8 wins by knockout. Ross Pearson is a veteran of the sport. He's been around since Tough 9. He actually won the Ultimate Fighter 9, and he is a headhunter. He likes to come forward. He likes to throw punches. He's looking for a knockout.
155 for Ross
He
Pearson.
said he's tired of people trying to run away from him. He's tired of
And
losing
his
decisions
opponent,
and split
Auckland,
decisions.
Dan,
He wants
the
to fight.
Hangman Hooker.
There is Dan Hooker. He'll be making his debut in the lightweight division. Actually has been fighting at 145 pounds in the UFC and at 6 feet tall. He's actually still going to be tall for the division at lightweight. He's very slick, very dangerous as a striker, but do not be fooled. He actually has 6 knockouts and 6 submissions on the mat. He's just as aggressive as he is on the feet.
156 for the Hangman.
It's amazing to think he could get down to 45.
I know, and he looks like he put on some muscle, Karen. So
Nice.
I think this division will suit him well.
I know Ross was happy to go back to 55 after he fought at 45. This felt so much better.
that's too
Just
much.
everything on his body. He said
Next
it
up
felt
in
so
the
much better.
co-main event of the evening in the middleweight division, Derek Brunson taking on Australia's Daniel Kelly.
Now, Daniel Kelly is a perpetual underdog. Out of his last 7 UFC fights, he won 6 of them, but's been the underdog for all of them as he is coming into this fight. He keeps fighting better and better competition. A 4-time Australian judo national champion. I think Olympian, better than a national
186
champion.
for the
I think what it is
15th
that
ranked middleweight in
underestimates
the
him
world,
is his age.
Daniel
People think just
Kelly.
because he's 39 that he's not going to be able to do it this
And
time.
his
But he
opponent,
gets it done every single
eighth-ranked
time. He
middleweight
comes out there and
Derek
surprises
Brunson.
He's a young kid at 39. What do you mean,
He's a
Misha?
spring
That is
chicken.
young. That is a spring chicken, absolutely. Well, there's Derek Brunson, who has opened up his own gym in North Carolina, Brunson's MMA and Fitness. And this is a guy who is so talented. He really is an amazing athlete. Has been a little bit inconsistent with his performances, but he's always dangerous. He was so close to defeating Yoel Romero and Anderson Silva. That shows how
186
talented
for
he is.
Derek Brunson.
Guys certainly
Three-time
face some
Yep.
stiff competition.
Yep.
3-time Division II All-American as well. So, yeah, Misha, like you were talking about earlier, I love seeing wrestlers versus judokas. Very fascinating matchup.
It really is, because they don't necessarily want to
Let's
tie
take
up
a
with
closer
each other.
look now at the 2 men fighting in the main event of the evening.
It's a pretty big night for me. I'm fighting in my country of birth in Auckland, New Zealand, so it's a pretty big moment. I'll show you Mark Hunt at his best, and Mark Hunt still being one of the best fighters in the world.
This is hometown, and I expect for Mark to try to come out and take my head off, and I will do the same. The fans will see some fireworks.
Derek Lewis versus Mark Hunt is a heavyweight dream fight. If you like to see slugfest, this is a fight for you. Derek Lewis is on a 6-fight win streak, 5 of those fights by stoppage, and he has stopped some incredible talent like Gabriel Gonzaga. He beat Roy Nelson, and in his most impressive outing to date, knocked out Travis Brown.
Oh, the right hand!
A top 10 contender in his last fight.
And that's it! The Black Beast roars again!
It was a huge, huge victory for Derek Lewis and a huge wake-up call to everyone else in the UFC's heavyweight division. In front of him, though, is Mark Hunt. He is a man who is more than capable of knocking out any human on the face of the planet with one shot.
Oh! What a huge knockout!
is coming off of a loss to top contender Alistair Overeem and would desperately like to get back on track against another top contender in Derek Lewis.
Well, victory tonight means everything. It means me still being relevant in the division. I have a strong mind, strong will. I can't see myself losing this fight.
He's going to come out and he's going to bang, you know. And that's the type of fights I like to be in. I'm always going for the knockouts. It's guaranteed that you will see nothing but heart inside of the cage from me.
But I'm always confident about my abilities and my strengths, and I'm going to beat him.
Either he knock me out or I'm going to knock him out. There ain't no way it's going to the decision.
It is all over!
Samoan, Mark Hunt!
Mark Hunt, just an amazing fighter, honestly. He's a very heavy hitter. He's a former K1 kickboxing champion. He's got 9 wins by knockout, 4 first-round finishes. And when this guy
265
throws,
for the
you
legend.
don't want to be anywhere
Mark
near it.
Hunt.
You don't even want the air molecules flying
And
around
his
his punch
opponent,
to touch
the
you,
Black
because he
Beast,
swings with a lot of power.
Derek Lewis.
Well, a lot like Mark Hunt, this is a huge heavyweight, a guy who always weighs in right around that 260-pound mark, a lot like Mark Hunt, and this guy very heavy-handed
265
as well.
for the Black
He
Beast.
wanted this fight, and he's sneaky agile as well. Has a very good head
here we
kick
go.
you got to watch out for.
Very intense.
Mark, thank you for your time. First off, you fought everybody, you fought all around the world, but how special will it be tomorrow night to fight here in Auckland, where you were born in New Zealand?
It's a great honor and privilege to be representing back here in New Zealand. So, I started here probably 26 years ago, different sport. But, I'm here with the UFC now, so pretty privileged. I'm honored.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It's an honor. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the best to ever do it, Mark Hunt. All right, I'm here with Derek Lewis. Derek, you're obviously on a tear. People in the heavyweight division are afraid of you, but do you consider Mark Hunt to be your biggest challenge yet?
Of course, anybody in front of me, I believe that big challenge.
All right, there you have it, folks. Tomorrow night, Derek Lewis versus Mark Hunt. We will see you there. We got extra weight underneath the octagon. This stage is shaking. I'm out of here.
All right, thank you so much, Brian Sand. Welcome back to the Fox Sports Desk in Los Angeles. Ken Flo, got to ask you a question. What do you make of the stare down there?
Well, both these guys are pretty jovial for the most part, but they were all business on that stare down. Definitely got in each other's face a little bit. They didn't touch each other really, but definitely made each other